Now listen carefully, because sometimes the difference is slim between having a good outcome and having a bad outcome. Having good judgment is often, listen, the difference between you and me getting a good outcome versus a bad outcome. Good judgment is often the difference between a person being successful and a person failing. Having good judgment. How do I judge this situation? And see, if you have bad judgment, no matter how much you say out of your mouth that you want a good outcome, you're not going to get it because you lack good judgment. Finally, number 3, wisdom is simply being skillful in decision making. Being skillful in decision making. This can often be the difference between a person working on a job, being promoted, and then always being overlooked in reference to promotions. It could be whether or not you're skillful in decision making. And how many know there are times that things catch us because we are limited beings off guard? And even when you didn't see something coming, how many know you still need the ability to be skillful in making decisions? When you are skillful in making decisions, you never panic. Even when you feel, somebody better listen tonight, that you're on the verge of panicking, you recognize if I panic, I'll make a bad choice. If I get too fearful, I'll do something and then regret it later on. Because I only did it because I was fearful or scared. Come on, somebody. But when you're skillful in decision making, you know how to be shook, but then you catch yourself. You catch yourself because you know what I do from this point on really matters. Come on. Because I can make the situation worse by simply not being skillful when it comes to decision making. This is often the difference also between adolescents and adults. When you are adolescent, you primarily, and I did too, depended upon our parents to help us be skillful in decision making. But as you grow up, like it or not, there's sometimes nobody there to hold your hand. Nobody there to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And if you're not skillful in decision making, it can cost you. It can cost you big time. Finally, the last meaning of wisdom is simply what's the antithesis of wisdom. The antithesis of wisdom is foolishness. It is foolishness. When a person operates in foolishness, it's simply because he or she lacks wisdom. He or she lacks wisdom. And as children of God, if we are lacking wisdom, it will primarily be because when God is speaking or giving wisdom, we're rejecting him. We're rejecting him. This is the thing about some church folk, not all, but some church folk will say that they want what God has for them, but they will not do what God is requiring. I'm going to say it again. Some people say, I want what God has for me, but yet you look at them and they're not doing what God would have for them to do so that they can get what he has.